Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into something that I think we all want more of.
Yeah.
Happiness. I'm Ben,
And I'm Anna.
and we're really excited to explore this topic with you today because,
Absolutely.
we all want to be happy, but sometimes it feels like
Yeah.
our brains are kind of working against us a little bit,
Yeah.
leading us down paths that don't actually lead to joy.
Yeah, it's like we're almost set up to crave things that don't truly fulfill us.
Yeah, like our brains are still wired for survival,
Right.
like our ancestors,
Exactly.
but they trick us into desiring things that we think will make us happy but actually don't.
Yeah. And in today's world, those things
Yeah.
really don't lead to happiness.
So how do we break free from these desires and find genuine happiness?
Well, that's what we're here to explore.
Yeah, so we'll unpack some powerful concepts from the book, The Science of True Happiness,
Okay.
and see how we can apply them to our own lives.
Sounds good to me.
So one interesting idea from the book is the concept of miswanting.
Miss one.
And I love this idea.
I love that term.
It's basically this idea that we desire things that we think will make us happy,
Right.
but in reality, they don't.
They really don't.
For example, imagine winning the lottery.
Oh, okay.
That seems like a dream come true,
It
right?
does.
But studies have shown that lottery winners often end up less happy
Yeah.
in the long run.
Less happy than they were before.
Why is that?
Well, their newfound wealth can disrupt their relationships,
Oh, that's interesting.
create a fear of losing it all, and lead to feelings of emptiness,
Wow.
even though they have all this money.
So it's like our brains are playing a trick on us, making us think that external things like money or possessions are the key.
Exactly.
But really, it's about something much deeper.
Yeah, much deeper.
How do we avoid falling into that trap?
Well, the book introduces a really practical framework called the good method.
The good method.
I like that.
It's an acronym that stands for gratitude, others, outdoors, and downtime,
Okay, so it's like a recipe for well-being.
with each element playing a crucial role.
A crucial role.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's break it down, starting with gratitude.
Okay.
How does being thankful actually boost happiness?
Gratitude is more than just a nice feeling. It's a powerful practice that can literally rewire your brain for positivity.
Really?
And studies have shown that people who regularly practice gratitude
Okay.
experience a wide range of benefits, from improved mood and sleep to increased resilience and stronger relationships.
That's amazing.
It is.
But how do you actually practice gratitude?
It can be as simple as taking a few moments each day to reflect on what you're grateful for.
Okay.
You can jot down a few things in a journal, share them with a loved one, or simply contemplate them in your mind.
Got it.
The key is to make it a regular habit.
So it's like making a conscious effort to shift your focus from what you lack to what you have.
Exactly.
Instead of dwelling on the negative, you're actively seeking out the positive.
You got it.
And over time, this can have a profound impact on your overall outlook on life. I love that. What about the others part of the good method?
Okay.
Tell me more about that.
Humans are social creatures. By nature, we thrive on connection.
Right.
We need to feel a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
Nurturing strong relationships and spending quality time with loved ones are essential ingredients for happiness.
And it doesn't have to be about having a huge circle of friends, right?
No, it's more about the quality of those connections.
Yeah.
Even small interactions like a friendly chat with a neighbor or a phone call with a friend can have a significant impact on our
Uh-huh.
well-being.
So it's not just about the grand gestures, but about those everyday moments of connection
Exactly.
that make us feel seen and heard.
You got it.
Now ready to step outside?
Let's go. I'm always up for some fresh air.
What's so special about the outdoors element?
Well, spending time in nature is like hitting the reset button for your mind and body.
Yeah.
Studies have shown that even just 20 minutes in nature can significantly reduce stress hormones, improve mood,
Wow.
and boost cognitive function.
It's like nature has this innate ability to calm and restore us.
It really does.
I can definitely relate to that. Whenever I'm feeling overwhelmed or stressed, a walk in the park always seems to do the trick.
It's amazing what nature can do.
It's like nature has this magical way of clearing my head and helping me feel more grounded.
Think about your favorite outdoor spot.
Okay?
Close your eyes for a moment and picture yourself there.
Okay.
What do you see, hear, and feel?
I'm imagining myself sitting on a rock by the ocean, watching the waves roll in, feeling the cool breeze on my face,
Yeah.
listening to the seagulls cry overhead. It's so peaceful and invigorating at the same time.
And that, my friend, is the power of nature.
Wow.
It has this incredible ability to connect us to something larger than ourselves, to remind us of the beauty and wonder that surrounds us.
Yeah.
It's a vital ingredient in the recipe for happiness.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces of the good method fit together.
They do.
They seem to work in harmony to create a sense of well-being.
They do work together.
What about the last element, downtime?
Okay.
Why is rest so crucial?
In our fast-paced, always-on world, downtime is often seen as a luxury.
Yeah.
Something to be squeezed in if there's time.
Right.
But the truth is, rest is not a luxury. It's a necessity.
I think a lot of us struggle with that.
We do.
We're so used to pushing ourselves,
Yes.
to striving for more, that we forget to prioritize rest.
We forget that we need to recharge,
Yeah.
to disconnect from the constant stimulation, and to simply be...
So how do we make sure we're getting enough downtime?
Well, downtime isn't just about sleep, although quality sleep is absolutely essential for our physical and mental health.
Right.
It's also about intentional relaxation, engaging in activities that help you de-stress and recharge.
So what would that look like?
It could be reading a book, listening to music, spending time in nature, meditating, or simply doing nothing at all.
Okay.
The key is to find what works for you and to make it a regular part of your routine.
It's almost like scheduling a meeting with yourself.
Yeah.
A meeting for rest and rejuvenation.
Exactly.
It might feel strange at first,
Yeah.
but trust me, your mind and body will thank you for it.
Absolutely.
So we've covered the 4 pillars of the good method: gratitude, others, outdoors, and downtime.
We have.
I'm seeing how each of these elements contributes to a more joyful and fulfilling life.
They do.
But I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the whole time versus money debate.
Okay.
Does one truly lead to greater happiness than the other?
That's a great question.
I think it's a question a lot of people think about.
Yeah, it's something that researchers have been studying for years.
Really?
And the findings are quite interesting.
Okay, what have they found?
What they've discovered is that feeling time affluent is more important for happiness than having a lot of money.
Time affluent.
Yeah.
What exactly does that mean?
It means feeling like you have enough time to do the things that matter to you.
Okay.
It's about feeling in control of your time rather than feeling like you're constantly rushing or being pulled in a million directions.
Yeah.
It's about having the freedom and flexibility to spend your time in ways that align with your values and priorities.
That makes so much sense. I think we've all felt that pressure at some point.
Yeah.
That feeling of being constantly busy, but not necessarily fulfilled.
Yeah.
Like we're on a hamster wheel going through the motions, but not really getting anywhere.
Exactly.
So how do we shift our focus from money to time?
That's the big question.
Yeah, how do we cultivate this sense of time affluence?
Well, one effective strategy is to buy back your time.
Buy back your time. What do you mean by that?
It might sound counterintuitive, but it's about being strategic with your resources.
Okay.
Think about it. Are there tasks that you dread doing or that take up a lot of your time that you could potentially outsource?
Oh, interesting.
For example, could you hire a house cleaner, use a meal delivery service, or delegate certain tasks at work?
I'm starting to see the light.
Good.
It's about investing in things that free up your time so you can spend it on things that truly matter to you.
Right.
Whether that's spending quality time with loved ones, pursuing hobbies, or simply having more downtime to relax and recharge.
Yeah,
It's like giving yourself the gift of time, which is ultimately the most precious resource we have.
it is.
What are some other strategies we can use to prioritize time?
Another powerful strategy is learning to say no.
Oh, saying no is hard,
It is hard.
but I can see how it's important.
We often feel obligated to say yes to every request, every invitation, every commitment.
Right. And it leads to burnout.
But saying yes to everything can lead to feeling overwhelmed, stressed, and ultimately unhappy.
So it's about setting boundaries,
Yes.
of protecting your time and energy.
Exactly.
It's about recognizing that your time is valuable and that it's okay to say no to things that don't align with your priorities.
It is okay to say no.
I think that's something a lot of us struggle with.
We do.
We want to please everyone, to be helpful and accommodating,
Right.
but it's impossible to do that without sacrificing our own well-being.
And then you're not good for anybody.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And remember, saying no doesn't have to be rude or confrontational.
Right.
It's about being assertive and clear about your needs.
Okay.
It's about prioritizing your own well-being so you can show up fully for the people and things that matter most to you.
This is making me think about how I often prioritize acquiring possessions over experiences.
Okay.
Is that a common trap when it comes to time versus money?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of material things, thinking that happiness comes from owning the latest gadget or having the biggest house.
Right. It's like that's what society tells us.
But research has shown that experiences tend to bring us more lasting happiness than possessions.
Why is that?
Experiences create memories,
Oh,
they
no.
foster connection,
Okay.
and they provide opportunities for personal growth and discovery. They enrich our lives in ways that material things simply cannot.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about creating a life that's rich in experiences and connections and moments that matter.
Exactly.
And it doesn't have to be about extravagant vacations or once-in-a-lifetime adventures.
No,
It could be as simple as having a picnic in the park with your family,
it could.
trying a new hobby,
Yeah.
or exploring a different part of your city.
Mhm.
It's about being present and engaged in those moments.
Yes.
About savoring the experience rather than focusing on documenting it for social media.
Speaking of social media,
Oh, yeah.
how do we navigate that constant comparison trap?
Right. It's so easy to get caught up in that.
It
It
is.
can be so toxic.
Social media can be a double-edged sword.
I agree.
While it can be a great tool for connecting with others,
Sure.
it can also fuel feelings of inadequacy and envy.
Yeah, because we're constantly bombarded with curated, idealized versions of people's lives,
Exactly.
which can distort our perception of reality and lead to feelings of dissatisfaction with our own lives.
It's like we're comparing our behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel.
Exactly.
And that's never a fair comparison.
So how do we break free from that comparison trap?
One of the most powerful strategies is to practice mindfulness. This means being present and aware of your thoughts and feelings without judgment.
So just noticing them.
Yeah, it's about noticing when you're comparing yourself to others and gently redirecting your attention to your own unique path.
I like that.
It's about recognizing that everyone's journey is different
Right.
and that comparison is truly the thief of joy.
Wow, that's a good one.
Instead of focusing on what others have or what they're doing, try to shift your focus to your own progress,
Okay.
your own goals, your own definition of success.
I love that. And remember to celebrate your wins,
Yeah.
no matter how small they may seem.
Yes, celebrate those wins.
That's such a great reminder.
It's so easy to forget to do that.
It is so easy to get caught up in what other people are doing that we forget to appreciate our own accomplishments.
Absolutely.
What about the role of self-compassion in all of this?
Okay.
How does being kind to ourselves contribute to happiness?
Self-compassion is essential for our well-being.
I agree.
It's about treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer a dear friend.
Right.
It's about recognizing that we're all human, that we all make mistakes, and that we're all worthy of love and acceptance,
Okay.
regardless of our flaws or shortcomings.
And I think that's something a lot of us struggle with.
We do.
We're often our own worst critics,
We are.
holding ourselves to unrealistic standards and beating ourselves up when we don't meet them.
It's true, but self-compassion is about offering ourselves grace,
Okay.
about recognizing that we're doing the best we can with the resources we have. It's about being our own best cheerleader, even when we stumble or fall short.
Yeah.
And it's not about ignoring our shortcomings or pretending they don't exist. It's about approaching ourselves with kindness and understanding, about recognizing that we're all works in progress.
So it's about embracing our imperfections and celebrating our progress, no matter how small it may seem.
Exactly.
And when we practice self-compassion, we create space for joy,
Yeah.
for creativity,
Our connection.
for all the things that make life truly meaningful.
Absolutely.
This has been an incredibly insightful conversation so far.
It has.
I'm feeling inspired and motivated to apply these concepts to my own life.
I'm glad to hear that. But remember, happiness is not a destination. It's a journey.
It's a journey.
It's about embracing the ups and downs, the challenges and the triumphs.
The whole package.
It's about continuously learning, growing, and evolving. It's about making choices that align with your values and priorities.
Right. And it sounds like it's a lot of work.
And most importantly, it's about cultivating habits and practices that nourish your soul and bring you joy.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about creating a life that feels good on the inside,
Exactly.
not just one that looks good on the outside.
You got it.
This has been an incredible start to our deep dive into the science of happiness.
It has been.
We've explored some foundational concepts like miswanting and the good method,
Right.
and we've started to see how our perception of time and our relationship with ourselves can profoundly impact our overall well-being.
Absolutely.
What we've discussed so far has really given me a lot to think about. Like, you're handing me the tools to build my own happiness toolkit.
I'm glad to hear that. But remember, building a happier life takes time and effort. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate your progress, and don't be afraid to experiment with different strategies to find what works best for you.
That's great advice.
Thank you.
This is just the beginning of our exploration,
Yeah,
and there's so much more to uncover.
so much more.
In the next part of our deep dive, we'll delve into some more specific strategies for boosting your happiness levels,
Okay.
including the power of subtraction, the importance of savoring positive experiences, and the surprising benefits of embracing failure.
Looking forward to it.
Stay tuned and let's keep exploring together.
Sounds great. So far, we've explored some really insightful strategies for cultivating happiness, like practicing gratitude, nurturing our connections with others, spending time in nature, and prioritizing downtime. It's like we're building a foundation for a more joyful and fulfilling life.
It really is a holistic approach, isn't it?
It is.
It's not just about one thing. It's about all these different areas of our lives
Exactly.
working together.
Yeah. Now I want to shift gears a bit and talk about a topic that might seem counterintuitive when it comes to happiness.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Failure.
Failure. Isn't that something we generally try to avoid? How can embracing failure possibly lead to greater happiness?
It might seem strange at first, but hear me out. Our society often glorifies success and perfection,
Right. It's all about being the best.
leading us to believe that failure is something to be feared and avoided at all costs. But this relentless pursuit of perfection can actually hold us back from experiencing true happiness.
Oh, I see what you're saying. When we're so afraid of failing, we might be less likely to take risks, to try new things, or to step outside of our comfort zones. We might miss out on opportunities for growth and discovery because we're so worried about making a mistake.
Exactly. And that fear of failure can keep us stuck in a rut, preventing us from pursuing our passions and living a life that feels truly authentic and meaningful.
Yeah, it's like we're playing it safe all the time, but then we're not really living.
Exactly.
So you're saying that we need to embrace failure in order to truly thrive.
Precisely. Failure is an inevitable part of life.
That's true. No one goes through life without failing at something.
It's through our mistakes, our setbacks, and our stumbles that we learn and grow. Each failure is an opportunity to gather valuable feedback, to adjust our course, and to build resilience.
It's like that old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Exactly. Every time we fall down, we have a chance to get back up wiser and more determined than before. The key is to shift our perspective on failure. Instead of seeing it as a negative reflection of our worth, we can view it as valuable data, as an opportunity for learning and growth.
That's a really empowering way to look at it. But I think a lot of us struggle with that. We tend to internalize our failures and let them define us. How can we break free from that negative self-talk and start embracing failure as a valuable teacher?
It's a process, and it takes time and practice, but here are a few strategies that can help you shift your mindset. First, try to reframe your definition of failure. Instead of seeing it as a personal shortcoming, view it as feedback. What can you learn from this experience? What adjustments can you make moving forward?
So instead of asking yourself, why am I such a failure?
Yes.
Ask yourself, what can I learn from this?
Exactly. It's about turning a negative experience into a positive learning opportunity. And remember, everyone makes mistakes. It's part of being human. What matters is how we respond to those mistakes. Do we let them define us, or do we use them as fuel for growth?
That's a powerful distinction.
Yeah.
So we reframe our definition of failure, viewing it as feedback rather than a personal attack.
Yeah.
What's the next step in embracing failure?
Next, practice self-compassion. When you inevitably stumble, treat yourself with kindness and understanding. Instead of beating yourself up for your mistakes, offer yourself the same grace and encouragement that you would offer a dear friend who's going through a tough time.
It's like being your own best friend, your own biggest supporter.
Exactly. We often tend to be much harder on ourselves than we would ever be on anyone else. But by cultivating self-compassion, we create a safe and supportive space for ourselves to learn and grow from our mistakes.
I love that. So we reframe failure and we practice self-compassion. Are there any other strategies that can help us embrace failure and turn it into a stepping stone for growth?
Absolutely. It's also important to celebrate your efforts, not just your outcomes. Often we get so caught up in the end goal and achieving success that we forget to appreciate the journey.
We forget to acknowledge all the hard work, the dedication, and the perseverance that went into it.
Exactly. And it's important to celebrate those efforts regardless of the outcome. Even if you don't achieve the desired result, you can still find value in the process. You can take pride in the fact that you tried, that you pushed yourself, that you learned something new along the way.
That's a really important point. It's about shifting our focus from the destination to the journey. It's about finding joy in the process and the learning and the growth, even if it's messy and imperfect.
Precisely. And by celebrating our efforts, we create a more positive and sustainable approach to growth and learning. We're less likely to get discouraged when things don't go as planned because we're not placing all our worth on the outcome. We're finding value in the journey itself.
This is making me think about all the times I've given up on something because I wasn't seeing immediate results. Now I realize I was missing out on the valuable lessons and growth that come from persevering, even when it's tough.
It's so easy to fall into that trap of wanting instant gratification. But true growth takes time, effort, and a willingness to embrace the ups and downs along the way. And remember, failure is not the opposite of success. It's a stepping stone along the path to success.
It's like those famous inventors or entrepreneurs who experienced countless setbacks before achieving their breakthroughs. They didn't let failure define them. They used it as fuel to keep going, to keep innovating, to keep pushing the boundaries.
Exactly. And when we approach life with that mindset, with willingness to embrace failure as a valuable teacher, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities.
This conversation has been a real eye-opener for me. I'm starting to see how embracing failure can actually be a key ingredient in the recipe for happiness. It's not about seeking out failure or intentionally making mistakes, but about shifting our perspective and seeing it as an opportunity for growth and learning.
And remember, it's a process. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your small wins, and don't be afraid to ask for support when you need it.
This has been such a valuable discussion. I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on failure.
I'm so glad to hear that. Now let's shift our focus to another powerful concept that can help us cultivate greater happiness, the power of subtraction.
Subtraction. Tell me more.
Well, we often think about happiness in terms of adding things to our lives, more money, more possessions, more experiences. But sometimes the key to happiness lies in letting go of things that no longer serve us.
It's like decluttering our lives, creating space for the things that truly matter.
Exactly. Think about it. We declutter our homes to create more space and peace. We simplify our wardrobes to reduce decision fatigue. Why not apply the same principles to other aspects of our lives?
You're right. I can see how this applies to things like our schedules, our commitments, even our negative thoughts. But where do we even begin with this subtraction process? It feels a little daunting.
A great starting point is to identify areas of your life where you feel overwhelmed or drained. It could be your overflowing inbox, your jam-packed schedule, or even certain relationships that feel more draining than nourishing. Once you've identified those areas, you can start to explore ways to subtract the things that are weighing you down.
I can definitely relate to that feeling of being overwhelmed and stretched too thin.
Yeah.
I know I'm guilty of saying yes to too many things. How do we say no without feeling guilty or hurting people's feelings?
It's about setting healthy boundaries and prioritizing your own needs. Remember, it's not selfish to take care of yourself. It's actually essential for being able to show up fully for the people and things that matter most to you. You can't pour from an empty cup.
That's a good point. So how do we go about subtracting those draining elements from our lives?
Well, one effective strategy is to create a not-to-do list. This is a list of things you're committed to not doing.
A not-to-do list. That's an interesting concept.
It might sound counterintuitive, but it can be incredibly helpful for setting boundaries and protecting your time and energy. Your not-to-do list could include activities that drain your energy, tasks that can be delegated, or commitments that no longer align with your values.
I love that. It's like giving ourselves permission to say no and to create more space for the things we truly value.
Exactly. And another strategy is to practice the art of delegation. Are there tasks at work or at home that someone else could handle? Can you outsource certain responsibilities to free up more time and energy for yourself?
I definitely need to get better at delegating. I tend to take on too much and then feel overwhelmed.
It's a common tendency, but delegating can be incredibly liberating. It allows you to focus on your strengths and to free up time for things that bring you joy and fulfillment. And remember, delegating doesn't mean you're shirking your responsibilities. It's about being strategic with your time and energy so you can be more effective in the areas that truly matter.
This is making me realize how much mental clutter I carry around. Negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, past regrets, they all weigh me down. Can we apply the subtraction principle to our mental space as well?
Absolutely. Mindfulness can be a powerful tool for decluttering our minds. When negative thoughts arise, we can practice observing them without judgment and then gently letting them go.
It's like we're decluttering our mental closet, getting rid of those thoughts that no longer serve us.
Exactly. And remember, self-compassion is key here. Be kind to yourself as you work through this process. It takes time and practice to cultivate a more peaceful and positive mental space.
It's like we're creating a sanctuary within our own minds. a place where we can find peace and clarity amidst the chaos of everyday life.
I love that analogy.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. I'm starting to see the power of subtraction in creating a happier and more fulfilling life. It's about simplifying, prioritizing, and letting go of what no longer serves us. It's about creating space for joy, peace, and growth.
And it's about recognizing that sometimes less is truly more. It's amazing how decluttering our lives, both physically and mentally, can make such a difference in our overall well-being. It's like creating space for happiness to flourish.
Yeah, it's making me think about how we often rush through our days, constantly focused on the next thing on our to-do list.
Yeah,
We rarely take the time to truly savor the positive experiences in our lives.
that's a great observation. We live in a culture that values busyness and productivity, often at the expense of slowing down and appreciating the good things we already have. But research has shown that taking the time to savor positive experiences can significantly boost our happiness levels.
So how do we actually practice savoring? What does that look like in everyday life?
It's about being fully present in the moment, engaging all your senses, and allowing yourself to fully experience the positive emotions associated with that moment. It's like hitting the pause button on life and truly immersing yourself in the joy, the gratitude, the love, or whatever positive emotion you're feeling.
Can you give me a concrete example of what that might look like?
Absolutely. Imagine you're enjoying a delicious meal. Instead of mindlessly shoveling food into your mouth while scrolling through your phone, try putting your phone away, taking a deep breath, and really savoring each bite. Notice the flavors, the textures, the aromas. Appreciate the effort that went into preparing the meal, and allow yourself to feel the gratitude for this simple pleasure.
That sounds amazing. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it.
I know, right?
But I can see how even small moments like that can become more meaningful when we take the time to truly appreciate them. What are some other ways we can practice savoring in our daily lives?
It could be as simple as taking a moment to appreciate the beauty of a sunset, relishing a warm hug from a loved one, or savoring the feeling of accomplishment after completing a challenging task. The key is to make a conscious effort to pay attention to the good things in your life, to acknowledge them, to appreciate them, and to let those positive emotions wash over you.
So it's like we're training our brains to focus on the positive, to find joy in the little things, and to cultivate a sense of gratitude for all that we have.
Exactly. And the more we practice savoring, the more we'll start to notice and appreciate the good things in our lives, even amidst the challenges and stresses.
I love that. It's like we're creating a ripple effect of positivity, spreading joy and gratitude wherever we go.
Exactly.
Now, before we wrap up our deep dive into the science of happiness,
Yeah.
I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier, the importance of embracing failure.
Okay.
We talked about how failure is an inevitable part of life and how it can actually be a valuable teacher if we approach it with the right mindset. But I want to emphasize one more point that I think is crucial for cultivating happiness, and that is the importance of learning from our mistakes.
Absolutely.
I can see how that ties into what we were talking about earlier. Instead of letting our failures define us, we can use them as opportunities for growth and learning.
Exactly. When we make a mistake, it's natural to feel disappointed, frustrated, or even embarrassed. But instead of dwelling on those negative emotions, try to shift your focus to what you can learn from the experience. Ask yourself, what went wrong? What could I have done differently? What can I do to prevent this from happening again?
So it's like turning a mistake into a valuable lesson, a stepping stone on the path to success.
Precisely. And remember, everyone makes mistakes. It's part of being human. What sets successful people apart is not that they never fail, but that they learn from their failures and use that knowledge to improve and grow.
It's like that famous quote by Thomas Edison, "I've not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work."
That's a great example. Edison didn't see his failed experiments as setbacks. He saw them as valuable data points, as stepping stones on the path to inventing the light bulb.
And that's the kind of mindset we want to cultivate, a mindset of curiosity, of resilience, of continuous learning and improvement.
Exactly.
It's about embracing the journey with all its twists and turns and knowing that even when we stumble, we're still moving forward.
We are.
This has been such an enlightening conversation. I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on happiness.
I'm so glad to hear that. And remember, happiness is not a one-size-fits-all formula. It's a journey of self-discovery, of experimentation, of finding what works for you.
Absolutely. And it's a journey that we don't have to take alone.
We don't.
We've covered so much ground in this deep dive. We've explored powerful concepts like miswanting the good method, time affluence, the power of subtraction, the importance of savoring positive experiences, and the benefits of embracing failure. It's like we've been given a toolkit for happiness filled with practical strategies that we can start implementing in our lives today.
I love that analogy.
And remember, building a happier life takes time and effort.
Yeah.
Be patient with yourself. Celebrate your progress. And don't be afraid to ask for support when you need it. Surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you and create a life that feels aligned with your values and goals.
That's beautifully said.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
Likewise.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the science of happiness. We hope you found it insightful, inspiring, and empowering. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep choosing happiness.
See you next time.
Thanks for watching. Until next time.